Greatness. We've been in this series called Go. Who's been here for both parts of Go? Let me see you in the chat. Let me see thumbs up. If you've been here for the Go series. What we're talking about, week one, we talked about Go is a command, not a suggestion. It means to move from one place to another, to leave or to depart. And if you've been called, you got something audacious and amazing that God has put on the inside of you that you're supposed to carry out into the world. The command from him was to go. Like, not stay where you are for the next 5 or 10 years, thinking about, writing about, contemplating about what he's called you to do, to serve other people. The command was to go. And so remember, we talked about nothing happens until you go. Nothing changes until you go, right? And so week number one, the topic of our session was called chosen, right? It was chosen. And I gave you 3 benefits of being chosen. And I just want to bring everybody up to speed. Debbie, good morning. I want to bring everybody up to speed on those 3 benefits of being chosen. Number one, you're a role player, right? Florin, God didn't put you on the team to be a bench player. He didn't put you on the team because you look good in the uniform. He put you on the team because you have an essential piece to helping humanity grow and transform. You are a role player. Number 2, there's nothing to prove. When you are chosen, you have nothing left to prove. Like, you don't have to prove that you're worthy. You don't have to prove that you're the best. Like, God chose you for a reason, specifically because there were some things in you that he wants to use that will change people's lives. Number 3, if you're chosen, you now have unprecedented access and resources to people and to the things that you need in order to build what you've been called to build. There's a difference. I mean, I kind of gave you this analogy about being on scholarship, right? When you go to college, you get a scholarship to go play sports at a college, and the guys or the girls on scholarship, they end up getting more perks. They end up getting more things because they were chosen than the people who were walk-ons. Anybody know what I'm talking about? So when a recruiter comes looking at your film or at your tape, he's coming all the way to your little tiny city, right? All the way to Wilmore to find you to say, I want that guy. I want that girl. She or he has something special. There's an X factor. And I'm choosing you out of all the people in the world to pay your way, to give you a full ride, to give you access, to give you a guaranteed spot to do what you've been chosen to do, which is to go into the world, to build and to launch and to create things that will change history. Part number 2, last week, the title of that session was called Equipped. Who was here for Equipped, right? We talked about you already have what you need. Stop second guessing yourself and stop second guessing God. You already have what you need for this moment in this season to get you to the thing that you've been praying about. And most of us, we are not using what we already have, and we're praying for what we think we need. And so there's a gap in between where you are and where you could be if you use what you already had in your hand. And I want to encourage you today, and I want to remind you the 3 steps that I taught you last week on how do I know what I'm equipped with, if I'm truly equipped for this journey, for this moment, for this season. Number 1, we said, look up. Number 2, look inside. Number 3, look around you. That's how you know if you've truly been equipped for the journey, for the calling of your life in this season. What is look up? Look up was know that God has all the things that you need. Know that he has everything that you need in order for you to get to where you're trying to go, right? And so a supreme God who has all resources, who has called you to do something extraordinary, has everything that you need to get to where you're going. And the truth is that he's already given you what you need for this moment. Any more, any less, it would be impossible. But what the tools that you need today, he's already given you. If we would learn to maximize what we already have been given, not knowing that those are the keys to the level that we've been praying for. And so you don't need to pray more. You don't need more. You need to focus on what you already have. And some of us, man, we think we need the latest and greatest gadget. The truth is all you really need is the right story. All you really need is the right confidence. All you really need is the right people around you. Like all you really need is all you have in this season to get you where you're going. And I don't know about you, I could just use myself as an example. There were times where I've been on my knees praying and crying and like, God, if you would just bless me with this, everything would be all better. And God was saying, you haven't even used what I've given you. Why would I give you more? Anybody got kids out there, right? Your kids always want more, they want more, they want more, but they haven't even maximized what you've given them, or they've abused what you've given them while they're asking you for what's next. And some of us, man, we don't need $1 million. We don't need $2 million. We don't need 10 people on our team. We don't even need 2 people on our team because we haven't learned to lead us yet. We haven't learned to lead us yet. We haven't learned how to take the $100 and use it appropriately for the assignment, for the dream, for the calling that we have. And so if God were to give you what you prayed for, it would destroy everything that he created you for. Number 2, we said, look inside, right? If you want to know if you're equipped for this journey, don't look at everybody else's race. Don't look at what everybody else is good and gifted at. Look inside of you. There are some intangible things, and I'm looking at all of you on this call this morning, Florin, there are some intangible things inside of you that if you would just use, if we would just learn to use what we have on the inside of us. Some of you are visionaries, some of you are creative, some of you are writers, some of you are speakers, some of you are singers, some of you are poetic. If you would just use what was inside of you, as opposed to wishing that you had what somebody else had. If you just knew that, I remember when I was like, God, I feel like you've been calling me to something greater and I really can't wrap my fingers around it. What is it that I have in me that you want to use to change people's lives? And I'm like, God, I'm not the fastest. I'm not the smartest. I'm not the this. And God was like, no, there's a specific, it's like, anybody ever seen Taken, the movie with Liam, what's it, how you pronounce the last name? Liam Neeson or Nielsen. He says, I have a specific set of skills that if needed, I can use them to get the job accomplished. And I'm telling you today that you have a specific set of skills and talents and gifts that are on the inside of you that make you world class. And some of you have been overlooking yourself, wishing that you were someone else. And if you were them, you would not be able to do what you were created and called to do. And I tell you that you don't need a list of 5,000 things that you're good at. You don't need a list of 10,000 things that you're great at. Can I tell you that there's like 1, 2, or 3 things that if you're on this call today, that when you do those things, nobody in the world can touch you, can match you, can overshadow you, because there's nobody like you on this planet. Number 3, if you're going to know, like if you've been equipped for the journey, for the purpose, for the assignment, is you need to look around you. Like literally look around you. The team that you desire to build the enterprise that's in your heart is literally probably already around you, and they are observing you and you don't even know it. They're observing you in the form of coffee dates. They're observing you in the form of watching you at the chamber mixer. They're observing you in the form of they're your client right now. They're observing you and they don't even know that they're observing you because they haven't had the epiphany yet that they've been called to be your CEO, to be your COO, to be your CFO. The truth is, if you look around you, you will notice, based on the size of your dream, will be the magnitude of the people who are around you, who are constantly trying to pour into you, constantly trying to elevate you, constantly trying to open doors for you. The team you've been praying for is probably already there. Can I tell you that if you're going to realize that you've been equipped, I need you to look around you. The opportunities you've been seeking are already there. The problem is that most of the time, opportunity looks like hard work. Opportunity looks like crawling under a barbed wire to get to where you're trying to get to. Opportunity doesn't look like shiny things. It doesn't look like 24 karat gold. And so if you're going to be equipped for the journey you've been called to embark upon, I need you to look up. God's got you. Look inside. He's already placed some things in your DNA. and look around you. Everything you've been praying for, you're already surrounded by it. But there's a time and a place for you to get to new levels. What you must do first is to maximize and to master what you already have in your hand. Who's ready for part number 3? Part number 3, this last part of Go. Today's topic is commit. Somebody write that in the chat for me. Commit. Number 1 was chosen. Week number 2 was equipped. Week number 3 is commit. Come on, I need to see it in the chat. Commit. Right? Let's talk about the definition of the word commit. Because here's the truth, is that some of us have been doing the hokey pokey with our dream. I can only speak about me. Some of us has been doing a hokey pokey, like, I'm gonna do. It's Monday. I'm fired up, Florin. Sonia, it's Monday. I'm all in. Wednesday, I don't know about this. I'm going back to my 9 to 5. I don't know. I looked at my bank account. We were supposed to go out to eat this weekend. I don't have it. Like, this is too much sacrifice. This is too much investment. This is too hard. It'll never happen. Nobody understands what's in my heart. No, like, we've been playing hokey pokey. Monday you're in, Wednesday you're out, Friday you're in, Saturday you're crying, Sunday you're throwing in the towel, Monday morning you come here with a smile. And the truth is that you will never be able to build the thing that you were called to build until you commit to it. I'm talking about, anybody here married? Like, you got to put a ring on it, married. Like, I need you to put a ring on your assignment. Till death do you part. This is what I was born for. This is what I was created for. I will die before I give up and go backwards. I will lay my life down spiritually, physically, metaphorically, before I abandon my calling. Somebody needs to write that down. I will die before I abandon my calling. And some of you are like, Ira, that is way too deep. It is not even that serious. All I do is run a shoestring company to help the kids. Like, no, can I tell you, I want you to lean in real quick. If you are not willing to commit your life to your calling, stop right now and go back to something that's easier. Because there's a lie out there that says the day you find what you were called to do, you'll never work another day in your life. That is a lie. That is the biggest lie I've ever heard. The day you find the thing you were born to do, you will never work harder. You will never work harder. Why? Because the people on the other end of your assignment need you. They are bleeding out spiritually. They are bleeding out mentally. They are bleeding out psychologically. They're bleeding out physically. They need you. And if you truly have been called, that means that you have a love connection to the people you've been called to. And anybody that you love, you will never let them drown. You will never let them bleed out. You will never let them suffer. And so if you are not willing to lay your life down for the thing that you've been called to, you will never see the results that you're supposed to. Commit. What does that word mean? It means to pledge or to dedicate yourself to something. Somebody put that in the chat for me. Commit means to pledge or to dedicate yourself to something. When was the last time that you dedicated yourself to something? Let me give you a different perspective. Commit means to nail yourself to your cause. Oh, somebody write that down. Commit means to nail, N-A-I-L, with a hammer, to nail yourself to your calling. If you're not willing to handcuff yourself to the thing that you see in your head and in your heart, and you know you were called and created to do, you are playing games. You're wasting time. You're wasting money. You're wasting energy. You're wasting other people's time because you are not serious about truly transforming your life and the people you've been called to. Is I'm going to give you 3 keys to true commitment. Like, Ira, how do I know if I'm truly committed? Well, how do I become truly committed? Like I've been dating my calling. I've been sneaking away on the weekends to go have an affair with my vision. I haven't married it yet. I'm casually seeing my dream, and it has not become the apple of my eye yet. I have not proposed yet. I'm going to give you three keys this morning because we believe in transformation here, and I want you to be able. I want you to have these so you can measure your commitment against these 3 characteristics for moving forward. Number 1, if you're going to be truly committed to the calling on your life, you need courage. Write that down. Courage. Some would call it faith, but courage. What am I saying? When you are called to something greater, you have a choice to make. After you know what it is, the choice is, yes, I will do this, or no, I won't. It's actually quite simple. And some of you on this call know what you've been called to do, but you have not said yes yet. You have not said yes. So you are aware, but you are not committed. And there's a difference. Some of you are still investigating your calling, not quite convinced that you're the one that's been called to do the thing that you've been called to do. I'm here to tell you this morning that if you're going to truly commit to the thing that you've been called to do, it's going to take an extreme level of courage to say yes to your assignment. Why is it going to take extreme courage, Ira? For all the reasons you already know. It's going to cost you something. It's going to cost you in sacrifice. It's going to cost you in the investment into yourself and into your life. John, you know what I'm talking about. It's going to cost you something. Calling is not costless. It costs you something. And you're going to have some courage to go and to do the thing that you were called and created to do. Courage means you're going to have to burn the boats. We talked about this at Dare to Dream Bigger. You're going to have to burn the boats. You got to go all in. And some of y'all are like, I don't know about going all in. Can I just stick my toe in it and see if it works? Can I just leap in and see if it works? And if it does, cool. I'll tell, hey, it works, y'all, come on. But if it doesn't work, I'm going to leap back out. Like, I don't really want to commit to it. Like, I want my calling to be like a video store where I can rent a movie on Friday and bring it back on Sunday. Y'all remember video stores? Like, I want to rent my calling when it's convenient and when it seems like everything is working. No. If you're truly called, it's going to take some courage to say, I am all in. It's going to take some courage to make the first move. Okay, I said yes. Okay, I burned the boats. Now I got to take the first step. For some of you, now I got to take the 50th step. For some of you, it seems like I was at step 50. Now I'm back at step 20. Now I got to take step 21. Like, it's going to take some courage to stay in the fight. Anybody ever felt like they were crazy in the midst of trying to build what they were called to build? Like, nobody else sees what you see. Like, it seems like there's no money anywhere for what you're trying to do. It seems like everybody looks at you like you have 4 eyeballs and 2 tails. Like, it's going to take some courage to do what you were called to do. Like, who in the world is both faith, purpose, growth, business, and takes people to 13,000 feet? It's going to take some courage to explain your crazy vision and dream and calling to people who will not get it because they weren't called to it. Number 1, if you're truly going to be committed, you need to have courage. And courage is not sold. I can't give you courage. Courage is earned by getting out of your comfort zone. Somebody needs to write that down. Courage is earned every time you get out of your comfort zone. Every single time. You want more courage? Stay away from your safety nets. You want more courage? Go out and do something that's hard. Go out and do something that's risky. Go do what most people wouldn't do. We talked about this at Dare to Dream Bigger. Live in the impossible places. Do you hear me, Destiny? I need you to live in the impossible places. That is where faith is built. That is where the miracle is. That is where courage comes from. It's when you are in your discomfort zone. Number two, if you want to know if you're truly committed, is I need you to measure your character. Let me write that down. Character. True commitment requires character. What am I saying? How you do what you do matters. Because when you are committed to something, when you are married to it, when you've made a covenant to it, when you have nailed yourself to your cause, you will never show up with an attitude, with a nasty attitude. You'll never show up trying to take from people, trying to rob people, trying to mislead people. Like the way you show up and the way you do what you do and the intent behind how you do what you do. Are you doing it with love? Are you doing it with kindness? Are you doing it as a servant leader? Are you doing it to be seen? Are you doing it for fame? Are you doing it for accolades and awards? Are you doing it for the money? Like your character will tell on you every single time. It will snitch on you every single time. The way you show up, the way you love on people, the way you serve is a telltale sign of whether this is a career for you or a calling, or whether this is profit for you or purpose. Every single time your character speaks louder than what's coming out of your mouth and the thing that you are selling or proposing to anybody that's sitting across from you. What does your character say about you when you walk into the room? As an example, as a living blueprint, as the blueprint for what it is that you're trying to build. People can read your character from 1,000 miles away before you ever open your mouth. Your living, your lifestyle, your integrity, how you show up, how you treat your wife, your husband, your children, your family, your neighbors. Your character will tell on you every single time. And when your character and your calling don't match, your dream will stay right where it is. Your dream will stay right where it is. In order for your dream to move forward, you must put character in the gas tank. You must put character in the gas tank. Because every time the components of who you are on the inside can either give you lift or it can become an anchor. And for some of you, you actually don't need what you think you need. It's your character that will actually open more doors for you than anything else. Some of you need a couple of $100,000. Some of you need a couple of $1 million to build out your enterprise. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Like you got a dream, you need some money, M-O-N-E-Y, right? You need some money. And here's the funny thing, and I'm gonna whisper this to you because I want you to catch this. Some of you will get the biggest checks, not because of your business idea, not because of your business acumen, not because of your network, because of your character. Some of you will get the biggest checks because of your character. And you're going to have people say things like this to you. I don't care about the ROI. I don't care what you do or how you do it. Go do it. Because I'm connected to your character, not your business model, not your back end, not whatever you produce on the other end. Your character will open more doors for you than anything you will ever write on the paper. Number 3, if you want to know if you're truly committed to the thing that you were called to do, is you need to measure your consistency. Consistency, consistency, consistency. Is she who she says she is every time I see her? Or on Monday on Instagram, she's fired up Freddie. But on Friday, she's twerkalicious Tina. Like, are you consistent? Right? Like, let's be honest. If I look you up on the internet, are you consistent in what you say you do for the world? When I meet you in person, are you congruent and consistent with what you are and who you say you are? I don't care if I run into you in the bathroom. I don't care if I run into you at the movies. Are you who you say you are always? And here's the deal. Because we're not acting, because we're not celebrities, and some of you will be one day, because you're just going to be that great. But because we're not celebrities, and we're not public figures per se, we don't have to put on this persona as if we're the guy or the girl from the movie who has it all together. No, when you live a life of purpose, that's your life. This is who you are. So wherever I see you, I should see you. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Wherever I encounter you, I should have an encounter with you, period. And that's the difference between people who are building things for the sake of building things and people who are building things because there is a calling attached to it. There are lives at stake on the other side of it because you care more about the people you've been called to serve than anything else. And so your consistency in who you are, where you are, what you are, and how you show up, and it must be congruent from your private life to your public life. It must be congruent. If you are publicly loving on people and serving people, but at your home, privately, you are not loving on people and serving people, your character will tell on you. In some way, shape, and form, your kids are going to snitch on you. Your wife or your husband are going to tell on you. Some way, shape, when you go to write that book, they're going to tell on you. Consistency starts from the moment you wake up to the moment you step outside of the house with your brand colors on and you represent the God who gave you the dream and the dream itself. Consistency every day. Show up, show out, and be who you say you are. And if who you are needs to go to another level, it's time to take it up a notch. If you are being consistent in the wrong things, I need you to be consistent in the right things. Start looking at your life and start measuring and start evaluating, am I the person today that I've been called to be tomorrow? And if there is a gap, which there will be because you are a living human, which means we are all imperfect. If there is a gap, every day you should be trying to minimize the gap between who you are today and who you need to be in order to fulfill the calling on your life. Every day. Yesterday, you guys know one of my favorite things to do is to come home and to see that big Amazon smile on a box right outside of my front door. What does that mean? It's smiling at me and I'm smiling at it because we both know, the box in me know that inside the box is another book to help me become who I am not yet. Consistency. Every single day, get better. Every single day, get better mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Get better as a husband, get better as a mother, get better as a father, get better as a wife, get better as a friend, get better as a servant leader, get better as a CEO, as a visionary, as a world changer. Consistency. Are you being and becoming the person you were called to be every single day? My favorite verse, I say it every week, Ephesians 4:1-2. Live a life worthy of the calling for which you have been called. That's consistency. Doesn't mean you have to master it every day. Doesn't mean you have to become the end all be all Gretchen every single day. It just means that every day you need to go to a new level. Rashid, you need to go to a new level every day. Can I look at your life and the patterns? Will it show me that you are on track, on the path, and on the trajectory to being and doing and birthing what's in your heart? The truth is that can be measured. That can be measured by your courage. That could be measured by your character. And that could be measured by your consistency. For those of you who know me, fairly well, I love NASA, right? If I wasn't Ira Davis, the chief dream diver, if I wasn't your dream development coach or your pastor in purpose, if I wasn't the CEO of the DreamDiver company, I'd probably be an astronaut. I'm just saying, I'd probably be an astronaut. One of the things that I love about looking at mission control is that they are tracking everything. If I looked at your commitment level and I begin to track your daily life, would you be on par to one day land on the moon? Would you be on par to one day land on Mars? And some of you, the truth is, and this is me included, I'm no different than you. I'm a man just like you. I'm imperfect just like you. Sometimes I play hokey pokey just like you. And so anything I say to you bounces off of you and back to me, right? The truth is that some of us are living a fantasy, thinking that what we do consistently every day is actually going to get us to the dream that we have in our heart. Some of us have been lying to ourselves. We know our work ethic is not where it should be. We know our faith is not where it should be. We know our language is not where it should be. We know where our business acumen is not where it should be. We know our friendships and relationships are not healthy and where they should be. We know our daily habits, routines, and consistent level of growth and greatness is not where it should be. And so I want you to start to look at your life as if you can map out the trajectory to your dream. Do you believe that your level of input, output is on par to get you to that star that you're aiming for? And if the answer is no, it's time to go to a new level. It's time to raise your level of courage, raise your level of character, raise your level of consistency, because you have something and some people that you've been called to. And so if you're ever going to make it to that level, to that stratosphere, you have got to become committed. You're already chosen, dream divers. You're already chosen. If you're here this morning, you're already chosen. This is not an accident. Like, this was not the roll of the dice. This was not the universe. This was not a star. Like, no, God positioned you here because you needed to hear something this morning. You needed to hear something over the course of these last several weeks. And some of you have been with me for years. This is not a coincidence. You've been chosen. You've been equipped. Now it's time for you to commit. Like, there's no more, I'm in, I'm out, Monday, Friday, maybe, kinda, if it works, if it doesn't, I'll start on New Year's, I'll start on Valentine's. No, like, it's time to make a commitment. And I want everybody, if you're not looking at me right now, if you're not looking at your screen, I want you to look at your screen. No matter how hard it gets, you've got to stay committed. You've got to stay committed. You got to stay committed. Whenever the weight gets too tough, whenever the journey gets too muddy, I want you to imagine yourself walking into the ER, the emergency room, and looking around the room with people who are crying, with people who are sick, people who are throwing up, people who are just down and out, who are in desperate need of care. I want you to walk into that emergency room in your mind, and I want you to look down at your hands and at your feet and at your clothing and realize that what you actually have on is a pair of scrubs. You have a pair of scrubs on. You are the surgeon that everybody came to see. And on the days when you are ready to give up and walk out, it's as if you walk out of that emergency room, get in your car and go home, because it's easier to do what makes you comfortable than it is to serve those people who need you. And I'll tell you today that if you are a dream diver, somebody who is being called to something extreme, to something that seems impossible, to something that's going to take more resources, more team, more tools than what you think you have access to, this is much greater than you. This is much greater than you. It's much greater than me. If I had 10 hands, I couldn't count enough times. I've run out of fingers to tell you how many times I wanted to quit. I would need my hands and yours and your feet. But because we found some way, somehow, the faith and the courage to stick it out, we have been able to serve some great people. We're on the trajectory, we're on track to serve even more people. You will never get to what you think is the epitome of your dream if you don't keep going. It doesn't get any easier if you stop. It doesn't get any easier if you slow down. You've got to keep going. No matter how fast you go or how slow you go, just commit and go. Your pace is not my pace. It's not Sonia's pace. It's not Ray's pace. Run the race at the pace that God has called you to do it at. Stop looking to your left. Stop looking to your right. You are not in a competition with anybody else other than you. The competition with yourself is not just to get better every day, but it's to become the best you every day. If you focus every day on maximizing you, your study habits, your work ethic, your love and kindness for people, your relationship with Jesus, I don't know what you believe on this call, but I can only be true to who I am. Your relationship with Jesus, if you focus on maximizing you, everything else will begin to evolve and fall right into place. Some of us, and I'm guilty too at times, is we start working on the things before we ever work on us. And the truth is, the difference between a profit-driven enterprise and a purpose-driven enterprise is purpose is you. Purpose is you. And so if you're trying to work on your purpose-driven enterprise without working on you, there's a disconnect. And so I need you to become a walking, breathing, living example of what you've been called to do. It starts here. It starts with the dream diver first. Before you can ever serve anybody else, starts with you. And so if you're the visionary out there, if you're the CEO of your enterprise and you're listening to me right now, I need you to know you need to focus on you just as much, if not more, than what you're building. Because you will be the conduit of miracles for what you're building for the world. I just told you that it's your character that's going to open more doors for you than anything, any business model you have or any success metrics that you have. And so if you are not operating at a peak performance level, you will be the reason why your dream never grows, why your vision is stunted, why your calling is aborted. And so this morning, as we end this series called Go, I want you to know it is time to go. I don't know where you are in your life. Go to the next level. If you're not reading anything to grow you spiritually, mentally, or emotionally, go to the next level. Start with one book. If you're not around people who can encourage and support you, go to the next level. Find one person who you can grow and learn from, who can be a coach, a mentor, a friend. If you're not currently submitting yourself to higher education so you can become better at what it is you've been called to do, go to the next level. Everybody's goal does not look the same, but we all know what not going looks like. We all know what stagnation looks like. We all know what stuck looks like. That all looks the same. Overthinking, underperforming, contemplating, strategizing, not executing, not truly believing that you've been called, that you're the one, not truly believing that God called you, not truly believing that there is a God, thinking that you can do this all on your own because you can't, thinking that you know it all. You don't. I don't. We don't. Wherever you find yourself today, this is your sign. It's time to go to the next level. It's time to go to the next level. Time to kick it up a notch. This is not a casual calling. No such thing. There's no such thing as a casual calling. It's time for you to get a little bit uncomfortable and get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's what this journey looks like. That's what this journey looks like. And trust me, God would have never called you if he didn't think you could handle it. You can. As a drill instructor, I used to push my recruits to the edge, sometimes over, sometimes break them in half, and then put them back together. But I knew what these young men were capable of. The problem is they would scream out for bloody murder as if I were killing them because they didn't know what they were capable of. But I did. And so I put them in situations where I could show them who they are and what they were made of. Because one day they would leave boot camp, recruit training, and they would be in a combat environment where if I didn't expose them to the most harsh and extreme conditions in training, if I didn't push them beyond what they thought were their limits, when they get in a combat situation and bullets and bombs are flying overhead and blood and guts is everywhere, they would not have ever had the experience of going to levels that they didn't think were possible. And so I had to teach them that they have some internal gears. They have some internal levers that if they could master their discipline and their work ethic and their courage and their character and their consistency in chaos, in controlled chaos, which is boot camp, that when they get in uncontrolled chaos, those same disciplines will come rushing back into their DNA, and they will be able to handle themselves with composure, with character, and they will be able to perform at a high level, at a world-class level, to be able to complete the mission. Can I tell you that what you are in right now is just training? It's just training and preparation for the battles that will come when you start producing fruit in your dream, when you start building what you have in your heart to build. So that why do we take people to 13,000 feet, Mary? It's because I want you to understand is that fear you felt at 13,000 feet, that it was impossible, that your life was going to end, and that all these different things that were running through your head about how, all these things that could go wrong. It's a figment of your imagination. And it all went away 10 seconds after you exited the aircraft. It all went away. And here's the truth, is that what you feel like God is crushing you in, or it's not fair, or if I wish I had, I wish I knew, I wish I was good enough, all of these different things are a figment of your imagination. This is only, and John, you know what I'm talking about. This is only a training ground. This is only a training facility. Rashid, you know what I'm talking about. This is only a training facility for your larger than life dream. The larger the dream, the more training is required. The greater the call, the greater the training, the more intense your training has to be. I remember when I was going to join the Marine Corps right after high school, and people were like, hey, what you doing after high school? I'm joining the Marine Corps. They would do a double take. Like, you doing what? Joining the Marine Corps. Right now, I have some buddies who were doing the Army and Navy. Nobody ever did a double take on them. No offense. But you tell somebody you join the Marine Corps, they do a double take. You want to do what? Why? Because our training is harder. It's more intense. Because we create the best. We create the best, right? And so you're the best. So guess what that requires from you? The best training. You want weak training? You're going to have a weak calling. You got a great calling on your life? You need the best, most intense training. And that looks like obstacles in your life. That looks like some trauma in your life. Be careful what you ask for. You want the best recruit? You want the best young man? You want to become the few, the proud, the United States Marine? Good. Give me 3 months. I'm going to thrash your body. I'm going to turn you into a lean, mean fighting machine. I'm going to turn you into a basically trained, a disciplined young man who can do anything he puts his mind to. You got a dream in your heart, DreamDiver? Stand by for your training. If you're going to be the best, you got to go through the best training. Yeah, you're going to whine. Yeah, it might hurt a little bit, but at the end, when you graduate, when you earn the title, no man, no woman can take away from you what you've earned. I'm telling you today that your ability to get up and go to the next level, to commit to your assignment, is going to determine the altitude of what God is able to produce in the world through your life.